Hey everyone, happy Monday. Great to see familiar faces. Hey, Miss Jennifer and Katie Ann and Megan, Carol. Well, y'all are in for a treat. This week we are going to explore family-friendly tourism. So welcome back to Marketing Mondays, and thank you as always for joining us. We're going to talk a little bit about why it's so important to tap into family-friendly tourism, especially as rural tourism practitioners. So quick poll, please type in the chat whether your business or entity or community caters to families. Just a quick, simple yes or no, or you can do a thumbs up. Awesome. Well, I just wanted to make sure that, we started with that because I feel like just about all of us have some form of, a lot of our guests have to do with families or some family makeup. So let's jump in again. Marketing Monday, small efforts for a big impact. And myself and Kara will be your host this week, and I'll guide you through some great information about family-friendly tourism. And so as we continue on this journey, of tourism elements, so we've done adventure, we've done culinary and special events. We're building on what we've already covered. So families, as well as all audiences, are motivated to enjoy a variety of adventures and culinary experiences, and many love to attend special events, of course. So it's something that fulfills them, that satisfies that need or desire, and creates those shareable memories, those moments that we seek that last. So let's talk about what family-friendly tourism is. And so family-friendly tourism refers to the travel experiences and destinations that cater to the needs and interests of families. And this includes lodging, attractions, food and beverage, special events, indoor and outdoor activities that are suitable for people of all ages and take into account the diverse needs of families. It also provides a safe, memorable, and educational environment for families to connect with one another while exploring new places. And it's about creating unforgettable memories and shareable experiences that strengthen family bonds. So a few points to consider about family-friendly tourism. First of all, remember that families vary. So we can look at parents with kids, that's kind of the nuclear or traditional family, but we also have grandparents with grandkids, we have grandparents with their kids, so multi-generational groups, got single parent families, extended families that are traveling together, mom and daughter, mom and son, dad and daughter, dad and son, same-sex couples with kids, families traveling together. This is not an exhaustive list, but you can see how varied it can be. And this is all part of family-friendly tourism. And so one of our recurring themes today is going to be things to do. And this is so important. And we'll talk a little bit about why it's so important. And it's, really the basis on why trips are built and what builds the trips. And then we'll talk a little bit about some of the wide array of opportunities with family-friendly tourism. So this could be parks, national forests, scenic drives, historic places, museums, zoos, hiking, boating, fishing, hunting, dining, city tours, farm tours, unique lodging, horseback riding, camps. As you can imagine, the list goes on. So our goal with family-friendly tourism is to tell an engaging and authentic story that moves your audience to take action. That's the key there, is to really get that trigger, hit that trigger so that they actually book or they come to see you. All right, so today's blueprint. First of all, we're going to talk about family-friendly travel trends for 2024. So one of the things that Kara and I talked about before we started this whole series is we want to do what we can to help y'all stay ahead of the curve, to really be, in the know about current trends. So we're going to start with some travel trends for 2024. Then we'll talk a little bit about how family-friendly tourism benefits rural communities. Then we'll talk about the many businesses that have opportunities. Really, it's opportunities for everyone, especially within our uplift communities. This is attractions and unique lodging, outdoor activities, history, heritage, zoos, state parks, arts and entertainment. The list goes on and on, like we just talked about. Then we'll identify those decision makers. Who are they? And then we'll jump into understanding their motivations. Then we will talk about 5 strategies to attract this audience. And then we will discuss 5 things that you can start doing right now. And then we'll go over our key takeaways, and then we'll answer any questions that you might have. All right, so let's start with travel trends for 2024. So this is hot off the press. I'm not sure which press, but this is the information that you need to know. First of all, microeducation is really important that families really want to incorporate this into their travel. It's more than just relaxing or adrenaline. Integrating some form of learning or education. It could be historical landmarks, cultural events, museums, parks, history tours. It could be learning something fun. So by taking a cooking class or learning how to fly fish. It could be, learning a new hobby, or maybe somebody's interested in finding out more about wellness or their health. So this is, sort of that micro-educational component that people are looking for to be incorporated into their travel. Feel like they're doing kind of 2 things. They're going someplace, but they're also learning something, have a takeaway. There's also an increase in multi-generational family trips. We're still in the post-COVID era. Between 2020 and 2021, 2022, people really want to make up for lost time. And extended families are a part of this trend. People are also looking for locations with fewer crowds. Again, people during COVID really discovered how much they enjoyed going to places that were more wide open spaces and didn't have as many people. And so that's another trend. People are looking for fewer crowds, but also positive impacts. Families are looking for that wow factor with relation to sustainability innovation. And I think all of y'all, from our Uplift communities fit into all these trends. So that's great news that we're looking at rural tourism, because you all have that education. You definitely cater to the multi-generational families, and you're in places where there are fewer crowds and have the ability to really positively impact the environment. All right, so how can family-friendly tourism benefit rural communities? So first, it's an economic boost. As people come to visit your area, that brings in money for lodging, dining, and especially things to do. Even if you don't have all of those components, I know that some of our communities don't have a lot of lodging options or dining options, but the more that people come to your area, the more that those can improve. And so another one is cultural preservation. You really want to engage with your visitors so that your traditions live on. I know that I've worked at a couple of properties where people are truly able to disconnect, and when they can escape from their busy lives, they find a place like yours that really stimulates their senses, and it creates that desire to want to preserve that feeling, right? So they come to a state park or a camp or something like that, and they realize how important feeling that way is, and so they want to preserve that. It also can benefit rural communities by improved infrastructure. The more visitors that you have, there's more need for better infrastructure. And this goes right along with community development. As people start to come to an area more and more, there is more need for places to stay and places to eat and things to do. It also promotes environmental conservation and advocacy. During COVID, a lot of people discovered the great outdoors. Trails and parks became almost overcrowded, but it also allowed people to understand what those impacts mean. And so that can also create that desire to protect. For those of you that maybe joined us during the Rural Tourism Summit, Delphon was our keynote speaker, and he talked a lot about environmental conservation and how his guests, they love the experience. They also asked him, what is everybody doing to protect this place? And I think that's really important to understand. In addition to community development and environmental conservation, it also instills local pride. Yes, I am from Martin County. We look at this photo here of Cakes by Becky. I don't know who Becky is. I hope that's Becky. I don't know, but I know that when I go to Martin County, I want to have a cow cake just because it looks delicious. She looks friendly, and it looks like a place that I want to be. And it looks like she is very happy to be in the community that she's in. And I think that, all of these elements together help to promote a long-term sustainability which is important for rural communities to, to continue doing what they're doing and what they've done so well for so long. So let's talk a little bit about how there are opportunities for everyone. So, businesses that can benefit from family-friendly tourism, of course, attractions, unique lodging. I feel like especially in rural North Carolina, it may not fit with the culture for like a specific hotel, but maybe it is a campground or something unique. In Bertie County, there's the Cascade River tree houses. If you all get a chance, you can look up Emberglow, which is on the western side of the state, but they have Airstreams and yurts and tree houses. And it's just kind of a unique environment and kind of fun, family friendly, of course. So unique lodgings, another opportunity, of course, outdoor activities, the list goes on and on. Y'all have so many great things for people to do outdoors. Let's talk about history and heritage. Kind of back to the 2024 trends reference, people looking for that micro educational component. Then there's parks, the national forest, the state parks, of course, arts and entertainment. I know sometimes, we have to kind of think creatively. I worked at a property where we used to offer painting classes. And then fast forward 5 years down the road, and I worked at another property that this painter reached out to me and just said, hey, what do you think about us coming to your property once a month and offering painting classes and drinking wine? That's like a no-brainer. And so we started by offering up to 12 spots, and a couple months later, there were 30 people coming to these things, and we were having to turn people away. So, thinking about some of these opportunities creatively and how to maybe integrate them together. And of course, as Kara talked about last week, there are tons of opportunities for special events. People are traveling more and more to go to special events. And so I think that's another great opportunity for everyone to really tap into that family-friendly tourism market. All right, so who are the decision makers? Well, moms, or those that are responsible for the emotional, social, and physical well-being of a family, are the primary decision makers. And that's 85% of purchase decisions are made by this individual. Kara, thank you. She provided me with some great social media demographics. So I want to share those with you, because this decision maker is also a frequent user of social media. So you want to engage them. There are 4.2 million full-time mom influencers that have transformed content marketing. Moms, or the emotional, social, and physical responsible individual for a family, they make up the strongest, they have the strongest authenticity factor. People really believe them and they want to engage with them because they almost show like a humbleness, or like they're able to connect with their audience a lot better. New moms spend several hours a day online and are regarded as decision influencers. Women write more online reviews than men. And then 75% of those that book cultural or nature trips are women. So some cool stats there, Kara. Thank you for sharing those with me. Also, traveling for special events has doubled in the past few years. So, and it's somewhat COVID related, but remember Kara's Marketing Monday from last week and talking about the importance of special events. They definitely bring the families to your location. Of course, with inflation, about half the families are seeking budget travel. So just be mindful with your communication that a lot of people are looking for value added, or opportunities and things to do and places to stay that are what might be considered under budget travel. And don't forget the mom influencers or the momfluencers. They typically have a high engagement following. So keep it simple. Look for those micro influencers, which would be like less than 10,000. They're more likely to visit with you and share your location. All right, so what are their motivations? Well, first and foremost, things to do. I know one of the properties I worked at, the owner was always like, what are we offering for people to do? Because if there are things to do, the adults are typically happy. So it's not necessarily specific to moms, but a large part of the excitement with a trip or a getaway is the planning process. So make it fun, make it easy. Talk about the value and the affordability. Think about opportunities to share new experiences. I know as a dad, my kids, it's things that I don't even think about that they've never done before. And so those opportunities to share new experiences are definitely things that attract us. Also, that ability to disconnect. A lot of us, myself included, we are on our phones a lot. Some of us might be addicted to our phones, but if you can get that ability to disconnect to your family, it's usually really good for the family and also helps to create those shareable memories. And also nostalgic opportunities. I know for me, when we first moved back to the Boone Blowing Rock area, and I went to Tweetsie for the first time in 35 years, you smell the train, you get the coal in your eyes, those things it's like nostalgic, and you remember it instantly from being a kid. So in this picture here, looks like a soda fountain, and I know that's kind of a fun thing to bring the family to get popped up on sugar and create some funny memories there in the food side too. All right, so let's talk about 5 strategies to engage this audience. So the first thing you want to do is think about your positioning or unique selling point. So are you the first? Are you the best? Do you have the best customer service or the greatest product? Are you in a good location? I know a lot of times, even if it's just your location, all the things to do, you're kind of that base camp, and that might be your selling point. Second, you want to understand how this position fulfills a need. What is it about this that meets those needs of the decision makers? And once you have those figured out, make it simple. Think about 2 or 3 key messages, and this is what you want to do to kind of put that consistent message out there, and that builds trust with your audience. Next, you want to identify where your audience is most likely to engage. So is it on social media? Is it on the website? Is it through partner sites? Where is it that they are likely to engage with you? Where are they going to see that message? And then you want to use targeted and purposeful approaches to reach them. So here are 5 things that you can start doing today. Remember to be consistent, transparent, and authentic. Have that transparency, and people look at you and your brand as a real person. So you want to use those key messages that support your positioning, right? That kind of your unique selling point, to be able to put that messaging out there. Another thing you want to do is kind of map out that audience journey. Where are they starting, and how are they finding you, and where are they coming from digitally to your website or to your social media? Or are they coming through a partner site, through Google search, through Visit NC? Once they're on your website, what are they doing? Where are they going? There's a cool product out there called Crazy Egg. Crazy Egg. I think Kara's going to put it in the chat for y'all so you can see. And they offer a 30-day free trial. But what they work with you to create heat maps for your website, so you can see where people are going on your website, how they're interacting, where they're dropping off, so you can kind of see where they're visiting. What are your most popular pages? Where are people looking? Are they finding what they're needing? So that's just an important piece to kind of map out your audience journey. You also want to embrace creativity, and that might be through vivid imagery, or it could be through grassroots marketing efforts. Maybe it's something unique out of home. Maybe you want to wrap something unique. I remember the first time I started seeing ads like on the grocery store and in the bathrooms, and people are finding sort of creative ways to communicate with us. So think about something that might be unique to you, or that kind of aligns with your culture. And as we said, utilize short and compelling videos and vivid imagery. That really will get their attention. And then finish that off with some thoughtful communication. One of the things that we started a few weeks ago, which I think is great, is we talk about overcoming those obstacles. We're all so very busy, and we're mindful of that. So again, thank you all so much for joining us today. This is not the end, but I just want to thank you, because I know that is a lot, and it's one more thing. So here are a couple of things to maybe help you overcome some of those obstacles. Don't overthink it. Don't make it complicated. Simplify your efforts wherever possible, and also make it easy on your guests, just as much as you need to make it easy on yourselves. You know, people want things to be easy. Think about UX or user experience. You know, maybe you can trim down some of your copy. Maybe you can let some of the imagery do more of the work. Maybe you can reach out to partners. So think about collaboration, whether it's partnerships or support organizations like Uplift, like us, that we're here to help you, you know, and have fun with it and be creative, you know, be present. I know that a lot of times people will ask about really getting on social media. And I always tell them to start slow. You know, you want to be present. You want to be able to comment and share and thank them and like their comments and ask for feedback or suggestions. You know, you want to have that two-way conversation with your audience, with your guests. You know, have those meaningful discussions, because again, you seem more realistic and more authentic, and people are more likely to engage with you that way. All right. So here are some key takeaways based on today's presentation. So the trends for 2024: multi-generational, educational, sustainable. Also talk a little bit about the benefits. We talked a little bit about the benefits of rural, of family-friendly tourism for rural communities. That's jobs, infrastructure, local passion, pride, sustainability. Now, there are a plethora of opportunities. So remember, things to do. That's a big one for sure. People want things to do. And then be mindful of who and why. So who are we talking with the most, and where are they? You know, embrace your uniqueness. You know, don't be afraid to try new things. Don't stop trying new things. Think outside the box. And as far as an action plan, you know, start with something new, whether it's once a day, a couple times a week. It will add up. And you know, adventure tourism, culinary tourism, and special events tourism all kind of come back to family-friendly tourism, because you know, we really want to think about that, you know, variety of demographics, and there really is so many opportunities that we know that you all can really cater to them in the rural North Carolina. All right, I think you've probably listened to me for enough time right now, so let's turn it over to some questions, and I'll let Kara help me as far as fielding some of those questions. All right, so as we look ahead to next week's webinar, it's cultural and heritage tourism. I know that HESA and our team at Uplift has made it fairly easy to be able to sign up for all of these, but if you haven't signed up for next week, make sure that you go ahead and do that now. You can use the QR code that's there. Make sure you share it with your best friends or your networking buddies or anybody else that you feel might benefit from our webinar series in Marketing Mondays. I know that we sent out an Uplift newsletter today that had so much great information on it. There's so much great programming that's happening. So if you haven't signed up for the Uplift newsletter, you're welcome to do that as well. And then we, of course, appreciate any and all feedback, any suggestions, any topics that you'd like to see further down in the calendar, because even though we've planned a lot of it out, we really want to be responsive to what you need. And so if there are things that you would like for us to do the legwork on research and present, we would be happy to try and incorporate that into Marketing Monday further in the year. And make sure you follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Kara is one of our social media gurus, and she has been doing a great job of posting all the things that are going on. So make sure that you follow us and also tell your friends about it. Well, good. Well, thank you all so much for being here. We really appreciate it. We love being a part of Marketing Mondays. We love having y'all join us, and we hope you have a good rest of your week. And again, if you think of anything, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We'd love to try and help. Otherwise, have a wonderful evening and a great week.